Sudhir, it's great to see you again. I understand that you're coming off of a little bit of a cough or an illness, and plus tied in with the Delhi pollution, we might be a little under the weather today. Is that right?
Yeah, but I'll try.
Okay.
But it's great to see you again. Yes.
Good to see you again. So I think the world is watching as SS Innovation continues to impress with its capabilities. It's moving across the globe with its installed base. And I think it begs the question of what was the motivation for you to transition from a accomplished robotic cardiac surgery surgeon to then say, I need to have my own system and I'm going to inspire an entire organization to build one. Take me through that thought process.
Sure. I think, as you have noted, I had a very successful practice in United States, and between building our own hospital, where we pushed the envelope for robotic cardiac surgery and pioneered all kinds of procedures, and then University of Chicago and then Atlanta came to India with the idea to really launch programs to bring this wonderful technique and technology to this part of the world, because these were very early days back in 2011. And I purchased the robot myself, at that time, Da Vinci SHD system. And we tried to train, but the biggest issue that patients could not afford. And although with my personal experience and expertise, I was able to do cardiac surgery, but even then the numbers were limited. And I think what really created this transition was a specific patient that needed surgery and was a perfect candidate, young lady, for atrial septal defect, except they didn't have money. And I afforded to do it free. Hospital wanted to charge 400,000 rupees, which is a lot of money for an Indian average person. And they tried to raise money, didn't succeed, and I never heard from them. And that was the day it honestly pained me. I was a poster child for Intuitive for a very long time and knew everyone right up to Lonnie Smith. And used to ask them, I said, why don't you guys create an affordable system for so many, you know, countries in the world that don't have access mainly because of money. But of course, they were busy with their own agenda. And so really that was a turning point in my life that we must do something. And that's where used up my personal life saving and got into it.
Yeah, and you got into it in a big way. What's really impressive about SSI is most surgical robotic companies' mission is to build a single platform robot. But I think SSI has been developed that it is a interventional and surgical robotic organization, much like an Intuitive. While it's interested in developing Mantra 3 and addressing that platform outside of cardiac, also soft tissue, and we can talk about that, but also you're developing other products that are enabling up and beyond the robot itself.
Yes, absolutely. So, of course, as a new and a startup company with limited resources, we had to come up with a platform that will, at least in the beginning, serve the purpose for many surgical procedures that currently are accepted. And of course, with my experience of cardiac, was also focused to be able to revive the field, because this is very important, whereby options are very limited and patients still undergo sternotomy, long recoveries, etc. So of course, the idea initially was to let's create something that will serve the common, known, and acceptable procedure that people are used to. And on top of that, focus on cardiac, develop some enabling technologies, instrumentation, and really push that. And we succeeded with that thing. But in parallel also was the idea that we must advance it as a science company, whereby we keep adding what the surgeon community and the patient community will need. So with that, all kinds of our virtual reality, our Maya VR, XR platform, trying to develop glasses whereby we can get rid of monitors, various other applications, including teleproctoring, telesurgery, to be able to not only bring the care to wherever needed, but also to be able to expand the programs in the early stages, because that has been one of the major factors when people are adopting a new platform. The number of mentors are limited. So we really wanted to use the technology and its abilities to do that. And on top of that, create enabling technologies to make the procedure much easier and faster and reliable in the sense of results. So we are developing and have developed certain various cardiac enabling technologies. And the idea was to go beyond cardiac in order to make surgeons' life easy, and then bunch of other diagnostic and therapeutic application using single robotic arm platforms, and again using the high speed connectivity today. It is all possible. So the whole idea really for us to remain a digital platform company and look at all the different opportunities that are there in the field of medical robotics and other aspects of medicine, actually, that will really help the patient globally, and ultimately keeping in mind an affordability factor, because that is one thing that really has created a very uneven penetration. And again, a lot of this has become economy centric. People who are rich or countries that have rich economies, they're benefiting from it, but almost 7 billion people don't have access. So the idea was to decentralize and democratizing access while creating this platform and use the technology as much as possible to benefit the most.
Yeah, and you have never heard the words high acuity complex surgical robotic platform and affordable in the same sentence. Yet that
Yes.
seems to be the pursuit and the mission of SS Innovation.
Technology, if expensive, it won't benefit most. And unfortunately, although there's a tremendous growth going on in many countries today, but it's still an affordability factor for an average population is a challenge.
Yeah. Well, Moore's law has never applied to complex medical devices. They only seem to double in price every year instead of go down in price every year.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
You had mentioned telesurgery. I believe just recently you performed the world's first cardiac telerobotic surgery. Is that right?
That's right. And by the way, you'll be happy to know by now, we have done four. We have done intramammary artery takedown as a first one, just to keep it simple. And then we take bilateral intramammary arteries. Then next thing I did, which is one of the most complex operations, a beating heart, totally endoscopic, bypass surgery sitting 286 kilometers away, suturing a 1.25 millimeter artery on a beating heart. And then finally, just last week, we did an atrial septal defect
When do you rest?
in between. It's really a fun ride. See, I'm sure you know more than anyone else, Joe, that the whole idea of robotics came with the idea of tele operation and telesurgery, whether in space or in the battlefield. And of course, a lot of money was spent those days. The technology was not ripe, and it didn't exist. So now we have come whole circle, where today we have technology and we have wonderful connectivity. So, the way I look at it, although telesurgery should be given a very serious importance in trying to bring the care wherever needed, or certain experts can literally help people wherever needed. But also, when you take the hype down, as a surgeon, if I know what to do in terms of the procedure and I know the machine works, so the only variable at that point is your connectivity. And now we have reached that level whereby, with minimum latency, we are able to perform. And it literally, I can tell you without reservation, it's like you're operating in the same operating room. It didn't feel just like you're watching the monitor, moving your hands and feet, and it's happening at the other end.
So as we look at 2025, there's a lot of activity going on with SSI and Mantra 3. What activities do you have going on in the States at all, if any? as well as OUS that we should keep our eyes open for?
Yeah, sure. So we have initiated our FDA approvals, and we have had pre-submission meetings with FDA, and they have talked to us about doing de novo submissions, and we are absolutely fine with that because of our high volumes and all the real world experience that already exists, more than 3,000 plus cases with absolutely phenomenal results. So essentially, non-cardiac specialties we are planning to do outside of United States, and they will accept the data. Of course, it will be completely controlled under the FDA protocols, and typical all standards will be maintained in relation to third-party collection, etc. The cardiac trials will be done. One is because of my lot of relationships with my very experienced cardiac surgeons there. And not only that, but also now in India, we have done over 170 plus cardiac cases with Mantra system. So the idea will be to conduct the US cardiac trials, and we are really planning to go full spectrum and not just get one procedure approved for the namesake that we have an FDA. Our goal is to make this system available equally in United States once we get the approval. We have retained also Daniels and Daniels firm to help us through the FDA process, and these are one of the known experts. And by the way, also Dr. Fred Moll, the original founder of Intuitive, of course, he has joined us, he's our vice chairman, and he has taken the charge of taking this thing as a lead to take it through the US approval process. And we have a lot of excitement that is there in United States for not only cardiac abilities, other than all the specialties, but also an affordable system. Because as you know, also, even in US, with the best economy and the medical care system, still not every hospital or every operating room has a robot. And I think it needs to get there. So we are keeping our eyes absolutely on the United States as well as on Europe.
Well, listen, I love the activity. I love the spirit. I love the mission that's driving you. And I love to see a digital, other than Intuitive, there's never been a digital first pure robotic company built, so to speak. And I think SSI now has done that and has put forth a platform and a, let's call it a digital science company that is well beyond a single platform. So congratulations to you and the team, and we'll be watching closely, and I know the category will be cheering you on.
And one thing I would say, and I think it might be good to let people know, then on March 7th, 8th, and 9th, we are doing a second global conference in the New Delhi area, what is called the National Capital Region. And it will basically include multi-specialty as a separate platform simultaneously, whereby all kinds of live cases, including tele-surgeries, will be demonstrated. Uh, Also, international and national faculty of prominence will all be there. Same way, in a parallel, there will be a cardiac platform whereby 4 center live cases will be transmitted, including telesurgery. And most importantly, along that also, we are revealing or unveiling a bus that has been modified where our system will be there to go wherever needed.
Love that. Love the progressive thinking, and I love the bold moves to you and the team.
Thank you.
All right, my friend. Listen, take care of yourself. Thank you for taking time out of your day and sharing the ongoing story with us.
Thank you very much, Joe, for giving us opportunity to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Goodbye.
I'm Joe Mullings from 160 Studios. Be well.